Hi, my name's Phil. I like to talk about politics, and in this video I like to discuss the arrest of someone known on Twitter who seems to have been one of the first, if not the first, person in the UK to spread false information about the Southport attacker, which was then used as an excuse to trigger far-right violence across lots of towns and cities. Now, when the arrest was first announced, it was simply stated 55-year-old woman from Cheshire, and we all thought, okay, we think we know who this is, right? It had people going, well, this is Bernie Spofforth, isn't it? Who certainly spread the disinformation very early on, is a 55-year-old woman. I said nothing because I ain't messing about with things I don't know for certain. Where there's an ongoing criminal investigation, you just go, no, let's just steer clear of that. And the police hadn't named her either. But a couple of things. First of all, the Times has published an article naming her as being the one questioned by police, though not as yet charged. So I think it's safe in discussing some aspects of this. And the main aspect I want to discuss is her defence, because it's a little bit odd. First of all, it's worth noting that she has or had a substantial following on Twitter. Technically, it's a new account now because her other one was deleted. So, you know, some of the following she still has, it's much lower now, but it will still include a lot of people with massive platforms still. So if she posts something and they share it, it's still going to a lot of people. This meant that a post from her would realistically be seen by a lot very quickly. Part of her defence is she deleted the tweet within a couple of hours when realising it was in error. Is that a good enough defence? Well, maybe to an extent, and people do make mistakes. It's certainly better to delete an incorrect tweet than to leave it there, as some other spreaders of disinformation did. However, there are still problems with her defence. Obviously, I'm speaking purely in non-legal terms because I'm not a lawyer. The first is, it is entirely possible for someone to deliberately push disinformation, let the false information run riot, then shut it down 2 hours later so you can deny having done it deliberately, and you would know that it will have gone out to a lot of people. You'll have still done your damage. She will have known it would have not only been viewed but shared a lot of times and by accounts that have large followings before she closed the stable door. And given the nature of her content on Twitter, it would have been equally obvious that the sort of people who mostly view her content, or the people who share her content, are the types who will most readily believe the disinformation she was spreading, as well as the fact that the police would be concealing the identity for nefarious purposes, when of course we know that the police simply weren't allowed to announce the identity. But there's a second problem with her defence as well, and it's a big one. I'm going to give thanks for a couple of Twitter accounts, Paul Cotterill and Steve Hanlon, for sort of pointing this out. So Spofforth claims that she got her information from someone from Southport. She screen grabbed a Facebook post, I think it was, by way of proof. But the timestamp is 11:26. She said, look, this is way before I put my own tweet out. It's 11:26. But police weren't called until 11:50, 24 minutes afterwards. Now, I'm not sure exactly when the first attack began, but it would not have taken half an hour for the police to even be called. And if someone's there when the attack is initially happening and they're trying to get information out, what they're not going to get out is, first of all, they won't know the name, because Spofforth said a name. She used a name for the attacker. And you couldn't possibly have got that name out by someone who was just witnessing the attacks. And the first thing they're going to do is not put on Facebook, oh, there's this attack going on. It would be to contact the police. So basically, that 11:26, I don't know exactly when the attacks begin, but what we do know is that 11:26 post cannot have been posted at 11:26 knowing about the attack or the identity of the attacker. It's too early. She's just fat. So you think, so is she conversing with people who have access to time travel? I don't think so. It would appear that the post in question, now this is according to Hanlon, was actually taken from someone posted in Pacific time over in America, west coast of America. But that would make the post hours after Spofforth posted hers. What she's found, or what she appears to have found, is a screenshot with the local time to make it look like it was before her post, but in reality, it would have been posted in the evening UK time. But she also didn't do it carefully enough, because she didn't make sure that she found a time, oh, that'll do, that time is before I posted my tweet. But she didn't make sure it was at a time after the attack, or after the point where it was possible for anyone to have known the identity of the attacker. Which means that Spofford's claim that she got her information from someone from Southport, or indeed that she got her information from anyone else at all, looks a bit ropey. The screen grab she used as evidence was clearly not posted between the time at which it would have been possible for anyone to have known the identity of the attacker and her own post. And what's more, the fact she used it means she must have trawled the internet trying to find something that would look like a defence to cover her tracks. So a deliberate attempt to pervert the course of justice. In fact, it's more likely that her screenshot was of a post which was actually influenced directly or indirectly by her own post. She's taking advantage of time zones. And if it transpires that the post she used as a defence was in actual fact posted hours after her own post, and investigators, I'm quite sure, will be able to work that out, then it can only mean one of two things as far as her disinformation goes. First, that she was the originator of the disinformation, in which case I imagine she's in a lot of legal doo-doo. Or second, she did get the information from someone else. She's not the originator, but she doesn't want to reveal the real source of the original lies, which would suggest she's covering for someone else. Either way, she absolutely did not get her information from anyone in Southport, because the post she screenshotted was not posted in the UK, much less Southport, unless you believe they did it before the attack even happened. And she has deliberately concealed the events around her posting of the tweet, which ended up causing a hell of a lot of damage. Now, obviously, given that there's been no charge, at least at the time of me recording this video, we don't know what the legal position is exactly, other than that her stated defence seems highly dubious. But whether she's charged or not, or what she's charged with, I don't think it's necessarily enough just to go after, I don't think it's a case of going after the person you think might be the original instigator of disinformation. Others pushed it as well without deleting their tweets a couple of hours later and knowing that it was probably unlikely that the information was true. Not that that should be a strong defence, the idea of just tweeting it a couple of hours later, given the spread of the lies before it was shut down. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. The only thoughts I can probably say, given that there is a criminal investigation going on. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for further content and click the like button. You can also sign up for memberships if you'd like to support the channel further. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.